Blessed be everyone. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Today I wanted to talk about your journey through the craft and how that may look for you based on how it worked for me and the way that hence I've structured the whole Mystery Witch School around my own experiences of how this has worked for me and hopefully works for you too. But before I do, I'm Sandra from MysteryWitchSchool.com, author of Crafting Your Wiccan Path and Tapping into Abundance. And if you want to know more about how you can walk your Wiccan or witchcraft path in a way that connects you very deeply to yourself, nature and spirit, hit the subscribe button and the notification bell so that you don't miss any videos. And if you want to know where to start your witchcraft practice, because sometimes you just haven't got a clue where to start and how to sort of work your way through everything, have a look at my free video, How to Start Your Witchcraft Practice. The link is in the description field below this video. So today I wanted to talk about the journey of knowledge, the journey of gnosis, and the journey to self. And awakening to who we are through our spiritual journey. I see the witchcraft path as a path that has plenty of opportunities for spiritual growth. It's more than just magic. It's more than just doing things on a magical basis. There is a lot of beauty and depth to it when you take it on as a spiritual path as well. And whether you're a traditional witch or another type of witch, or whether you are on the Wiccan path and identify as Wiccan, it's really just about bringing happiness and joy and connection into your life, no matter what path you're walking or whatever label you put onto it. It's really what we're wanting at the end of the day is joy. We're wanting peace. We're wanting harmony. We're wanting connection. We're wanting all of those things. So how does that happen? How does that happen? In this world of information where you can have access to any information you want, but how does it actually work? How does all this information kind of come together, and how does it work? So I can speak for my own experience, and I've developed the whole Mystery Witch School and the teachings in Mystery Witch School as a part of that experience. Way back when I first started in the craft, I was a solitary for maybe a couple of years, 18 months to 2 years, before I found a coven. And the coven that I found was a traditional coven. It worked within the Wiccan degree tradition. And it went through the whole sort of curriculum of Wicca, which it's a curriculum. It's a very Western way of learning. Our way of learning in the West is that it's a curriculum. Whereas in the Eastern traditions, which I've also experienced through Sufism and also through Buddhism, it's not curriculum based at all. It's a much more fluid way of working. There isn't the emphasis on achieving degrees like we have in the West. The West is very university type, you know, you've got your degree and then you've got your honours and then you've got your masters and your PhD, and in many ways, because Wicca was based on a Freemasonry sort of system, it's very similar to a university system. Whereas in some of the Eastern traditions, it's much more flowing. It's not so heady. It's more to do with, you could be in one aspect of training and learning in the East for years before you actually are moved into the next level by your teacher. It's a much more fluid way of working. So my experience has been both with the rational, sequential, academic way of working, which was the traditional Wiccan coven, and a more fluid way of working within Sufism and even Buddhism. And so the two have come together for me. So when I was in the coven, the way that the coven worked with the curriculum was that we learned the basics in first degree, which is covering all of those things I cover in Mystery Witch School 101, although I must admit I do put in some second degrees in that course. So if you're interested in learning Wicca with me, you can have a look at that course. It's called Mystery Witch School 101 Academy. The link is in the description field below this video. And that follows the same curriculum that I learned when I was in first degree Wicca, which was energy work, doing some sort of a daily practice, learning about the full moon, the new moon, although in my coven we focus more on the full moon than the new moon, the Sabbats, working with the goddess and god, and working magic. Basic sort of magic, generally candle magic in first degree. And then in second degree we did our sort of all the different things that witches do. So you learn a little bit of herbalism, a little bit of tarot, a little bit of scrying, some palmistry. And it's more what you would call, I guess, if you were doing a university course or a college course, your electives. So you're learning a bit about everything that witches do, so that you have an idea of the different things you may want to specialise in. And then in third degree, you become more focused on leading groups and on the rites of passage, even though you've learned the rites of passage back in first degree. And in my coven, the rites of passage were the rites of passage such as Wiccaning, marriages, deaths, and all of those sorts of places you go through your lifetime, those rites of passage through life. Rites of passage were not degrees in the coven that I grew up in, so it may be different in different covens. And as third degree, you learn how to be the person that holds space for all of those things, as well, in our coven anyway, we had to do like it was a thesis on a particular sort of thing. So there's this sort of academic way, and after a year and a day, you would finish that level. So a year and a day for first degree, a year and a day for second, and a year and a day for third, and so bang, then you're done. You're cooked. But in the Eastern systems, that's not how it works. You could be in the very beginning pleb stages for years before you're actually initiated into the next stage. Because in the Eastern traditions, it's not about what you know up here, it's about who you are becoming. And so the initiations are often based on the dreams that you have. So you may have certain dreams, and through those dreams, and you present them to your teacher, and the teacher will go, that means you're on to the next level, and they'll give you the next thing to do. So they work very intuitively, and they work very organically. And it doesn't matter how much head knowledge you have, you could have equal amount of head knowledge, but still be way behind somebody else, because as a person and as a conscious being, you haven't actually done the inner work enough to be able to get to that next level. So the inner work is what the Eastern traditions tend to emphasize. They emphasize the you working on you, the shadow work aspect. It's pushed much more within those traditions than it is in the Western traditions. And so when it comes to my experience of having gone through the path, I've had the experience of the academic side, but I've also had the experience of the inner work side, and how important the inner work side really is to you understanding the academic side in the first place, and being able to be responsible with the academic side. So for me, it's a blend between doing that inner work and doing the knowledge work. So it's bringing those two sides of the yin and the yang together. I see the Western tradition as often being very yang, because it is so based on the intellect and on what you know, whereas the Eastern traditions seem to be more on the yin side, because they're more about how you're moving more like water through the process and doing more that inner work. I will have to say, though, that I notice that in more recent years, when it comes to Wicca and a lot of the Western path, there is more shadow work now being emphasised, and a lot of covens are focusing more on the shadow work and on that inner work, and that is probably the Eastern aspect coming in there. So blending the two is really important. So at the beginning, of course, you want to make sense of the form. So at the beginning, you want to know a little bit about energy work. You need to know about the moons. You need to know about the Sabbats, about magic and all of those things, and exploring yourself within those things. Exploring how do you connect to the god and goddess, and how do you do these things. And that's what Mystery Witch School 101 Academy is about. It's about you connecting to yourself through also connecting to the goddess and god, to the practices, doing some inner work, doing a lot of meditation work, guided meditation work, getting more confidence with your path, getting more confidence with yourself, and connecting spiritually to the path. And then when you're ready and cooked with that, and that could take you a year, it could take you 2 years, it could take you 3 years, it could take you 10 years. It really depends on yourself and what you're doing and what life's doing with you. And then when you're ready, the Wheels of Empowerment, which is the chakra work, the inner work, the shadow work, where you go on a deeper dive within yourself, also using some ritual and connection to deity, and removing any of those blockages that you have to you fully being able to embrace who you truly are and your path in life. And this follows directly on from my experience. I learned all the basics first, and then I went on a search for years, like 20 years, on that inner work search to find that missing link. And it took me a long time to go through that aspect of it. Yes, if I'd stayed with the coven, I would have gone through all of the academic achievements and all of the academic degrees, but I would still have been missing that inner work that took me over 20 years to not just find, but actually learn how to do it. And I'm still doing it. So that's why I've structured the Mystery Witch School the way I've structured it. It's to give you the best of both worlds. It's to give you the best of the Western way of working, which is the academic sort of knowledge side, but giving it to you in a way that's also the Eastern way of working, where you get to experience and connect to who you truly are through the exploratory processes and that inner contemplation to develop your consciousness. So that's why the two courses that I offer are the way they are. So if you are a very beginner and you want to know where to start with your practice and you want to learn Wicca with me, Mystery Witch School 101 Academy is the best place for you to start. If you're somebody who's already on the path and you know all the basics, but you're wanting to take that deep dive into you and removing those blocks and learning some good techniques to be able to help you in your life whenever situations come by that cause you to sort of go a bit, then the Wheels of Empowerment course would be the one for you to explore. So both links to those courses are in the description field below this video. If you like the video, hit the like button, share it with your friends. Don't forget to subscribe. I'm Sandra from mysterywitchschool.com. Blessed be.